Now, I always hesitate before I play a View clip because it's like, it's all garbage and we know it's garbage, but it is still on the air. So people must still be watching it. And so I do think it's important to play what the other side is saying and also consuming. And so I want to play this. Again, I'm very sorry. But this is The View's take on people wearing the MAGA hat. Watch.
And by the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that.
The swastika?
Because we see it anyway.
The bottom line is, this isn't good for any of us. I mean, this is what it comes down to. It's not good for any American. This is not the American way. This is not the promise of America. She doesn't always get it right,
correct,
but we know we can fight to make it better. When you have someone who says, I'm going to get rid of all criticism, I'm going to get rid of anything that's dissenting, this should make everybody really scared. One of the great things about this country is that you can stand here and say, you know what, I don't like how the country's being run. And you know that nobody's going to come and snatch you up for saying that. You want to keep it that way.
Really?
That's why it's important. We'll be right
back. She was literally describing what we're living in right now and saying Donald Trump will do all these things. She was literally describing the Biden regime.
Yeah, these are not real people. Like, you need to understand, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to think to yourself, oh, I wish I had spent more time like trying to reason with people who unironically watch The View and think this is like intelligent political commentary. Maybe 10 years ago, where you had this sort of like Democrat coalition that had a little bit of pro-environmentalism, maybe some anti-war stuff. All of those positions are now completely abandoned. Like, they're pro-environmentalism, not because they're against pollution, because if you talk about which countries are actually most responsible for the pollution in the oceans, well, they don't want to talk about that because those are third world countries and we have to be really nice to those countries because otherwise that is racist. What they mean is they don't want you to have a cool car. They don't want you to be able to purchase gasoline or things like that. They don't have like legitimate claim to any of these issues anymore. I mean, they're all shilling for the war in Ukraine. If you don't do that, you are literally Hitler, and that's why the MAGA hat is so indiscernible, even though Donald Trump was like against that conflict from day one in terms of getting involved in it, and even said that if he were still in office, it wouldn't have happened in the first place, which is true. And that's why the issues that poll the highest among that coalition are simply like these abstractions, like defending democracy, crushing, insurgent white supremacism, things of that nature, not actually like real issues. And so I think that we tend to make the mistake on this side of thinking that these are like real people who can be reasoned with. And you do kind of have to understand, if you are at this point still a Democrat voter, you are looking at what the Democrat Party is offering, which is open borders, child genital mutilation, all of these things, as opposed to what the Republican Party is offering, which is just simply like maybe some more economic freedom, maybe a closed border, very like basic issues. And you are saying, well, this is actually a closer approximation to what I want the world to look like than what these guys are offering. And there's not really an innocence that can be claimed in that case. Like, maybe it would be one thing if Republicans were talking about more wars in the Middle East and tax cuts only for the rich, as opposed to what Trump did, which actually returned money into the pockets of middle-class families as well. But it's literally saying, like, I am willing to sacrifice human lives, the country, all of this, if it makes like my caricature that Whoopi Goldberg told me exists for Republican voters angry. And so all of that is just worth throwing away if it just makes people like us angry.
Yeah, I agree.
What context was that even about? Because they were talking about the MAGA hat, and they started talking about silencing dissent.
Right.
Which,
well, I think because you might as well put a swastika on your hat, because the MAGAs are, of course, the true Nazis. They want to silence dissent. They want to do all of these things. They want to punish you if you don't agree with them.
But
sound familiar?
And it's funny because they'll be the first ones like, well, what do you think about hate speech? Should that be allowed? Right. Oh, hell no. You know, like, shut it all down. Right. You know, like, there's such a disconnect between exactly kind of what you were saying is it's interesting to your typical Democrat voter. What exactly are they voting for? I don't know if they're voting for niceness. I think maybe that's the majority of what they think. They just think the Democrat Party is nice and really cares for the little guy. Can you really say that anymore?
No.
I don't. The Democratic Party of the 60s, or like the Kennedy years, is not at all what they are now.
No.
Not at all what they are now. So I'm having a hard. I mean, it's kind of a hard thing to even really talk about in detail because a lot of the Republican Party and a lot of the Democratic Party, if you ask them what they actually agree with or disagree with, they probably agree with a lot more than what they disagree with at this point. There's a small few right now that really stand for, I'm absolutely against central planning. I am for small government. I am for the Bill of Rights. You could probably, this would be scary if you just set all of them down and have a serious conversation about the Bill of Rights. How many of them from both parties would not agree with most of the Bill of Rights? The Second Amendment, the First Amendment, unauthorized search and seizure. I mean, tons of them, they would say, get rid of that one, strike that one, get rid of that one, strike that one. That's the direction we're moving in right now. That the uniparty is a real thing, and that is the direction they're going in. I don't really know how you scale that back or how you fix that.
Yeah, I don't either, because I think to both of your points, it is truly stunning to me when you look at how close this election is, because I think to myself, there's no way that people are still going to fall for this Nazi swastika garbage when you're literally paying twice as much, if not more, at the grocery store. You could barely afford to fill up your gas tank. You see all of these illegal immigrants flooding through the border, coming to a city near you. And you can't, there are cities who have their schools shut down because they are housing illegal immigrants in the schools. You have to imagine that this horrible administration is reaching everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's like, how is it still neck and neck? That actually scares me, that these people are so pre-programmed to just be like, ew, no, Nazi, ew, and then still vote for this, knowing what they know, feeling what they feel, seeing what they see. I don't get it.
I was just watching, it was an interview, One America maybe, I can't remember who it was, but they were in the Bronx, and they just started talking to a bunch of people because Trump's supposed to go back there and do a rally or something or make an appearance. And they talked to 2 black people and one white dude. And they all pretty much said the same thing. They said that this is ridiculous. People that aren't even citizens of this country are getting more benefits than we are. What's that? That makes no sense. Right. People are starting, and I'm really curious what the black vote's going to be on.
I know, I am too.
I know it's he's I think doubled or whatever from the last, but it's got to be way more than that. Yeah. I've talked to so many of my black friends. They're like, and they were Democrats before.
Oh, Jason just tried to throw that in so people wouldn't think that he's racist. So many of my black friends. I have so many black friends you would not even believe. I'm kidding.
But no, seriously, it's and the majority of them are Democrats. Right. And they're like, I don't know. Most of them actually said they're not going to vote because they don't agree with either side. Yeah. But that you have completely lost.
But so that, I know we got to go to a break, but so that is that's what gets me too, is it's not just them. It's not just the black voters who might stay home because they won't vote for either. It's also all the pro-Palestinian people who are really pissed at Joe Biden right now.
What do you mean them? What did you mean by that? That sounded loaded.
The black voters that
yeah, but you know how they're always
Jason was
talking. What do you mean they? What do you mean them?
What do you mean you people?
Oh yeah.
I am a minority. I am a person of color, and I also am 2% sub-Saharan African. So I'm just speaking about myself. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.